I'd like to welcome everyone to today's press conference. Our participants are Dr. Mark Reed, President of the University, Don DiJulia, Athletic Director, and Jameer Nelson, Class of 2018. So I'm going to open it up with each man making a remark, and then we'll open up to questions.
So good morning, and thank you all for being here today. We're delighted to have Jameer back on campus and look forward to celebrating his graduation this weekend, along with close to 2,000 other students who will be graduating from St. Joe's this weekend. Jameer completing his degree is significant on many levels, and it means a great deal to so many people who look up to him and care about him. The university couldn't be happier to count Jameer among our Hall of Fame and now among our alumni. But more than that, St. Joe's is proud of Jameer because he models what we seek to instill in our students, a deep, lifelong appreciation for education, and that appreciation stuck with Jameer for all these years and will serve him well into his future. I had the pleasure of meeting Jameer about 3 years ago when I arrived here on Hawk Hill as president, and we talked at that time about his completing his degree, which was already underway. And I told him it would be an honor to shake his hand when he came across the stage, and we look forward to doing that tomorrow. So thank you very much.
It was an early Saturday morning, 9 o'clock in Los Angeles, April 10th, 2004, when John Wooden walked up to the stage, and yes, even John Wooden had to open the envelope to announce that year's Wooden Award winner. He opened it, and I literally remember him pausing, and after, because he was trying to think of something to say, and what he said was, I don't know if you remember this, this year's best college basketball player also has the best smile in America. That's how he introduced, and then he said, Jameer Nelson. And then a lot of you know that Phil Martelli finished his college career at Widener and Chester. I finished my high school career in Chester. And when Jameer came here, Phil and I affectionately referred to him as the little guy from Chester. So now he's still the little guy, but also a big guy because of this great accomplishment. Certainly we're excited, and mainly for him. You know, all of you, when you make a commitment to something and you stick to it and achieve it, how proud one becomes. So you can imagine how proud that he kept his commitment. First, I remember to his mom, and then we were married, had the children, made the commitment to his family. So we're excited, and certainly we were proud of Jameer then, and we're proud of him still today. And if it were easy to do what he did, then everybody would do it. And you know everyone has not done what he kind of committed to do. You know, he's an All-American player and Player of the Year and NBA All-Star, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he's also an All-American person. He was then and he is now. So we're proud of Jameer's commitment to remain a Hawk forever.
First, I would like to thank the university for one, believing in me, like Don said, come from Chester, not knowing at some points in my life if I was actually going to college, and then going through the recruiting process as a student athlete, not knowing what college I was going to. And then I decided St. Joe's, and you know, Phil, Don, and everybody here on Hawk Hill made me a promise of that they're going to do everything for me in their power to help me succeed in life on and off the court. And you know, I felt it important, just as important for myself and my family as it would be for the university for me to complete my studies in sociology.
I'd like to open it up for questions, but please, we're going to get you on the microphone because this is being streamed, so we want the people at home to be able to hear the question.
Yeah, Jameer, what?
Come on, Donald.
It's okay. Yeah. All right. Jameer, what does this mean to you and your family and all the people in Chester that raised you, man, and at the high school and boys club and all that good stuff?
It means a lot. I mean, you know, like I tell people all the time, no matter what I've done in my career on the court, I've always modeled myself to be and wanted to be the best person I can be, more importantly, and looked upon as a role model. And this is something that I wanted to do for the city of Chester, for the University of St. Joe's, and my family and my closest friends.
Hi. So how important is it for student athletes not only to use their platform to get into college, but also excel and earn a degree to better their future?
It's definitely important. I mean, when you grow up, you're a kid, and you have dreams of going to college, and you have dreams of doing things after college. And to be honest with you, for the kids that are out there listening, college is going to be and should be the best years of your life. It will help you develop as a person. You go to college as a young adult, and some think they come out as an old adult, but you live on, and you take those things that you've learned in college along with you. And for myself, that's the truth. I mean, I've learned a lot here, and I've been taught a lot here, how to be a teammate, how to be a pro. Before I was a pro, how to be a student. Growing up in Chester, you're not in the best school district, but when you come here at St. Joe's, you have so much support and so many people to back you. I can't even tell you how many tutors I had, how many practices I missed just to meet with tutors, and because it was a struggle for me. But the most important thing for me was to get things done then and also now.
Jameer, when the league has changed so much now, when you left school, you left credits short of graduating. Now you got kids coming out after 1 year. They're coming out years away from getting their degree. And yet, as difficult it was, living an NBA lifestyle, to even get those credits, what would you tell them, when they're looking so far, the importance of just finding a way to do the work and get their college degrees?
Well, I mean, people say, all the time, anything can be done. And that's only true if you want to do it. You can say it, but the person that's receiving that message have to want to do and accomplish the things they want to accomplish. To the guys that are coming out, after 1 year of college, let's not kid ourselves. If we were able to do that and go make millions of dollars, all of us probably would do it. So it's no knock on those guys, but if they want to go back to college and receive their degree or study something else, it may not have to be a 4-year school. It may be a trade, or it may be a JUCO to receive more colleges and learn more about whatever they want to learn about. But that's up to them. I mean, I encourage people to do things the way they want to do it, but more importantly, do something positive.
Jameer, for the kids who are watching this story, maybe in Chester or certain neighborhoods, what would you say, they look at you, a famous basketball player, you've reached the pinnacle. What would you say about still the value of education? And also, what was the hardest part about coming back and finishing up your coursework here?
I basically would tell the kids that your education will follow you much further than a basketball would. I listened to, I think it was George Raveling last year. He said that basketball was his GPS, and that's exactly what it was for me. I used basketball. I used the platform of the sport to take me to different places that I've never seen, I've never been to, and I've never would have gone to, or things I've accomplished that I wouldn't have accomplished if it wasn't for the sport. But you also have to take advantage of that opportunity and turn it into something positive, like school. My parents weren't going to be able to afford college, so my thing was I'm going to get, and I'm going to do whatever I can do to help my parents out.
What was the hardest part about coming back?
The fear. I mean, I honestly, the fear of coming back. I had talked about it, numerous amount of times with different people, and it was just the fear of doing it, not knowing what to expect. I didn't want to read a ton of books anymore. I didn't want, honestly, I didn't want to go to class and sit in front of, a teacher for 3 hours at a night class like I used to. It was technology nowadays help out a lot with, one of the things I did with my last course, it was called Zoom, and I was able to FaceTime the teacher, and we were able to break down my papers and my assignments, and I can see everything on my iPad, and I'm still amazed that you can do that stuff because I'm not very technologically sound, if that makes sense. But I do what I can do.
You said that you're maybe was a little afraid to maybe come back. I mean, you're gonna basically walk down, get your name called, back at the school where you were just a flat out star. What do you think your emotions are gonna be like when you hear your name called, where you've heard it called 10,000 times, all the points you've scored, to hear your name called that you've graduated from St. Joe's after more than a decade?
Well, I actually have that same feeling right now that I had when I was about to get drafted. It's kind of like the day before, a couple days before the draft. I have that feeling. It's an anxious nervousness, not knowing what to expect. I just keep telling myself not to trip. But I'm gonna get up and just like the NBA draft, you shake somebody's hand and you give them a hug and you walk down the stage. But this to me is a bigger accomplishment and the biggest accolade I can receive, if I can call it accolade.
More than the draft.
I think so. I mean, like I said, it's a certain time in my life I knew I was going to be an NBA player. I was fortunate enough to know that. I didn't know if I was going to come back and get my degree. I didn't know. So to me, that's the bigger part of it, knowing or not knowing and then doing it. And I wasn't scared to go to the NBA. I wasn't scared to go to the draft. I was scared to come back and receive my degree. But, I tell people all the time, we're all able to do things physically, but it's all right here, whatever you have in your mind, that will separate you from others to accomplish anything you've started or anything you want to start.
Don, you've just retired from dedicating pretty much all of your adult life to student athletes. For a moment like this for you, what do you feel to see Jameer come back and complete his degree and to graduate?
Well, this is a special moment. I guess among the favorite things in my position over the years is watching the dedication and the joy of when student athletes succeed on the court or field or off the court. So this fits into that, the favorite part of the position, because so much time, effort, and work goes into being an accomplished athlete and certainly being an accomplished, well-rounded person, and finishing an academic career takes a lot of behind-the-scenes work. So just the joy of watching others being joyful for accomplishing something they wanted to do. When you're around special people, you learn a lot. And I've told this story over the years, and I'm sure I'll continue to tell it for many years to come. After Jameer's last collegiate game at the Meadowlands in 2004, when a lot of people in that building, and I'm sure this team and a lot of St. Joe fans, believed they were going to win and go to the Final Four. The building was stunningly quiet after 2 hours of roaring. And what happens after a game is the athletes and the coach have a 10-minute cooling off period. Our fans needed 2 hours before they left the building to cool off. Some may not have recovered yet. So Jameer, two teammates, and Phil had to walk in and meet the nation's press 10 minutes after competing and being disappointed. One of the many questions that the team fielded, and a media writer asked this Jameer, I guess you're really disappointed that didn't achieve your ultimate goal, getting to the Final Four. Again, don't remember if you remember this. But in my words, what he said was, of course we're disappointed. That's why you compete. We thought we were the best team. We wanted to win the national championship. But that wasn't my ultimate goal. I can't answer if I succeeded on my ultimate goal. You'll have to ask Delonte and Pat, because my ultimate goal was to be the best teammate anybody ever had. So we've learned that from the master teammate.
Jameer, what interests you about sociology, and how do you plan on using that degree in your future endeavors?
Sociology is interesting to me. I mean, so many parts of it. But the most important part was for me come from Chester to understand why certain people act a certain way. It's the study of society, and it shows you why things happen a certain way. And I should be, and I think I am a little smarter than I was 14 years ago. So it actually helped me out throughout my first 14 years in the NBA. I mean, and I think one of the most important courses that I've taken was a leadership course, and hopefully that can help me out 14 years later down the line after this, or however many years it's going to be when I retire. When I decide to either coach, front office, whatever I want to do with inside the game of basketball, because there's so many different ways you can lead. But we don't know that. We don't all realize that we're leading in our own way. And one of the most important things that I took from that was how to empower people so they can hold themselves accountable.
When you originally left here, how many credits were you shy, and how many classes were you taking online, and what were you exactly kind of taking online and stuff?
Well, I had to take the thing was, so I had to withdraw my last 5 classes from when I was here originally. So the one thing was missing so much school from the NCAA tournament, representing myself and the school after that. At award ceremonies, I missed so much school. I mean, it was almost impossible for me to do what I needed to do at that time. And it was opportunity for me to come back that summer, but it was either go back that summer or try to make a living for my family. And like I said, that was important as well. But I knew I can come back and finish school. I just didn't know when. But I had to take the opportunity and seize the opportunity and trying to make a living for my family.
So how many classes were you taking?
I was taking my classes online. I was doing independent studies. It was some core classes and a couple electives. I took a religion class. I took some sociology classes, and like I said, I took a leadership class.
Jameer, when you went on your run with St. Joseph's, and it was a remarkable run, I was in high school watching you, and it inspired me to actually want to go to St. Joe's. I applied, waitlisted. But I want you to explain what the possibility of the NBA getting rid of the one and done will do in terms of motivating people like me who might be interested in sports, that aren't athletic, or people that are interested in sports that are athletic. How do you think getting rid of the one and done in terms of jumping from high school, from college to the NBA will impact high schoolers and below?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, like I said, you can't tell somebody not to go make millions of dollars. I'm not sure the NBA will ever get away from the one and done. I'm not sure if I think they should or shouldn't. I mean, I'm indifferent, to be honest with you. But the one thing I know is when you become an NBA player, you're a man. When you're in WNBA, you're a woman. So you have to be grown up, and you have to go through things in college that will help you out later in life. So could going to school 3 or 4 years help people? Yeah, if that's what you're asking, I think so. But call it what it is, those people and guys and girls are trying to make a living as well. Just like anybody who wants to become a doctor or anything else. And like I said, you have to, I guess what it's called, strike the iron when it's hot. And sometimes it's hot after 1 year for certain guys and girls. So, I'm not against it and I'm not for it. Like everybody's going to do things their own way. It's a tough decision, I'm sure, for all families. I mean, I entered the draft my junior year. I decided to go back on my own. Nobody convinced me. Could I have gone to the NBA that year? Yeah, I could have. But for me, it was important for me to come back, and I felt like I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the NBA mentally, physically, emotionally, anything. So you just have to be honest with yourself as a kid and deal with the consequences as they come, because there's going to be some consequences no matter what decision you make.
Dr. Reed, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but how is Jameer a good representation of what it means to be a Hawk at St. Joe's?
We have hundreds of student athletes every year that compete in a variety of sports. And obviously some are higher profile than others. But all of our student athletes come here with the intention, I believe this, and I believe this was the intention when Jameer came. He came to St. Joe's to get an education and with the expectation that they would graduate. And that's why you come. That's what our student athletes hear from our coaches. That's what they hear from our athletic director and from everybody. So when we admit a student, any student, but a student athlete in particular, to answer your question, to the institution, that's our expectation for them. We're making a commitment to them. Some people, limited number, but some people are going to have an opportunity to do something professionally in sports before that time is up. Jameer was one of those individuals who was able to do that, and we've had others. But in the time that I've been here, when we had another guy who was able to go to the NBA and be drafted high, I remember saying the same thing to him that I said to Jameer when I met him, which is, I look forward someday, hopefully I'll still be the president, but if not, one of my successors looks forward to handing your diploma to graduate from the institution. So why am I explaining that? Because Jameer models what we want for all of our student athletes. We want student athletes to come to the institution, to study hard, to play hard, to accomplish all their goals athletically and otherwise, but to be part of the campus, to be part of the student body. I wasn't president when Jameer was a student here, but my understanding was, he wasn't some mystery figure on campus. People knew who he was. They sat in class with him. They saw him in the dining hall. They saw him in and around campus. And so that really, I think, is an example that he set for everybody here and models it. And then ultimately as well, that they kind of leave this place infused with this sense of responsibility, but not so much in a burdensome sense, but almost they're inspired to want to use what they were given here or learned here to do something for other people. And Jameer does that as well. He does that as well, and he does that through his family, through a foundation that he's been establishing, and all of that. And I think you heard it here today in his responses as well. So I think how he lives his life, how he conducted himself when he was here at St. Joe's, how he's conducted himself in the NBA. I've been a lifelong sports fan, and I actually can remember that last game in the Meadowlands where I was watching it as well. Little did I know I'd be president here someday. And I remember that, that end of that game and followed Jameer's career through the Orlando Magic and the other teams that he's played on. He's been a leader everywhere that he's been. And when you look at it, not many guys get to have the length of career in the NBA that Jameer has had. And that doesn't just happen because of his basketball talent, although that's considerable. You have to have the total package. It's got to be about leadership. You've got to be able to live your lifestyle in a way that is conducive to performing at your best, and to balance the challenges of family obligations and family life, as well as the professional responsibilities and all the notoriety that comes with it. So when you look at his career and where he is today, I mean, we are so proud to be able to say he's a Hawk, he's one of us, and always will be. And that's how I think he reflects the best of what we want for our student athletes and the best of what we offer here at this university.
Jameer, what are your plans going forward, man, in terms of getting that 15th year?
Well, right now I'm just preparing myself to play. I'm still working out. Never taking a summer off from working out. So I don't even think like when I retire I'll take a summer off because I've never had a summer off. But yeah, I'm just preparing myself to play just like every other year. And I'm a free agent, and I feel like there's teams out there that will need my services. For their younger players and to play the game as well.
Anyone else? One more?
Last, Jameer, have you heard from any of your college teammates? I mean, the Dwayne Joneses, the Marvin O'Connors, you know what I'm saying?
I always talk to those guys. I talk to a lot of guys throughout the year. I mean, we all stay in contact some kind of way. I mean, we're all living our lives a little different. Everybody has different obligations, and everybody has things that are time-consuming. So you're not able to meet up with those guys as much as you would like. But knowing that you have former teammates and from college, to have your back and to reach out to congratulate you, and and vice versa. I always reach out to those guys and try to, like I say, stay in contact as much as possible.
Sorry, I don't mean to keep you here all day. So were you doing a lot of this work when you'd be on the road, like in between practices, like before games, like in a hotel room? Can you kind of walk us through?
Well, that's my life right there. Practice, games, hotels room. So you just hit it. You just answered your own question.
Are you doing a lot of this work, like in a locker room before a game?
No, I mean, my game is my game. Like on game days, most people know not to bother me. Because I'm preparing for the game. But after practice days and travel days and sitting in hotel rooms and sitting in, apartment, just knocking things out in terms of the work and other things. I mean, I have other things going on outside of basketball, outside of school, outside of family. I mean, just so you have to manage your time wisely, and that's one of the things. It's funny that, going back, it's one of the things that Phil taught me, and I don't know exactly what it was, but he put like this ladder on a piece of paper, and he basically turned that into like a timeline. And it was one of the reasons why I went in his office that day was because I was struggling with my timing, and things were overwhelming because I was becoming Jameer Nelson. So he broke it down to me. He's like, you have to be better with your time, and you have to manage things better. And still to this day, people always ask me, how come you get somewhere like practice an hour early? And I was always taught to be early to be on time. And that's one of the things that I'll always take with me from Phil and from the university.
How different was taking classes in college versus doing it now with like traveling in basketball? Like, was there some similarities, or was it like a lot different?
No similarities at all. It was a little weird. So my first class that when I went back, I started. It's a religion class, and I was doing my work. I was doing the reading and everything, and my regular life now has taken over me, which is my family. And basketball. I forgot I was in class. I went on vacation. I missed a week. I got an F, but I was able to drop that class because we were able, as a class, to drop the lowest grade. So it kind of woke me up. It kind of woke me up and made me realize that it's a lot different than going to class and and seeing people and having a reminder. And like I said, I'm a lot older now and a lot more. I hope, like I said, smarter or wiser. So I wisened up, and I would set time to do things, and I would do things accordingly.
You don't have to say the professor's name.
No, I don't want to say the professor's name. I want to say the class. Yeah, no.
It's religion.
It's a religion class. I needed one religion class. I took that class, and I got a good grade overall. I think I got like a B. Yeah, it was a good. I mean, you know, if I would have been taking classes and doing my work the way I did it these last 2.5 years, I'd probably be on the dean's list. Yeah, on the dean's list. No.